because because Assad was using chemical weapons against his people. That AUMF passed this committee with the late John McCain and Barbara Boxer, two extremes of the ideological divide, in a robust bipartisan vote. The reason it didn't go to the floor, it's not that it failed on the floor, it didn't go to the floor because President Obama took that authorization of the committee and made it very clear at the G20 meeting in Russia that he would seek to finalize that authorization and use it against Assad if he did not give up his chemical weapons. So it's not that it failed on the Senate floor, it just never got there because it wasn't necessary. And as to, I know that I opened up the conversation, and I intend for it to be that way, about the 91, 2002, but also the 2001. But what the committee will be voting on in the first instance will be the 91 and 2002 AUMF repeals. And all I'll say on that regard is it would be a perversion of what Congress voted for to read in those authorizations anything that goes beyond the Saddam Hussein era of Iraq. And that's we have a legitimate conversation going on in the 2001 and what it means, but on the others, I think it's a little less certain. But I appreciate the senator's views and interest. Senator Shaheen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to each of our witnesses for your service and for your testimony today. Ms. Crass, I'm going to actually begin with you, and I'm going to try and restate what I think was Senator Romney's question to Mr. Visick. And I'm directing it at you because you are in the Department of Defense. Would the repeal of the 2002 AUMF impact U.S. forces that remain in Iraq now in any way?
No, Senator.
No.
And can you provide a scenario in which the president might need to rely on that AUMF to use force in Iraq?
No, I cannot think of one.
Thank you. I'm not sure who to direct this at, but some of the U.S. litigation around AUMF authorities has dealt with the issue of detaining enemy combatants. So maybe Ambassador Sherman, you would take the first crack at this. What, if any, effect do you anticipate the repeal of the 2002 AUMF would have on the detainee issue?
None whatsoever, Senator, and certainly defer to Mr. Visick and to Ms. Crass if they have anything to add from a legal perspective, but my impression is none.
Mr. Visick?
Senator, the 2002 AUMF is not a source of authority for any current detainee operations, including those at Guantanamo.
Thank you. And just to go back, I think, Secretary Sherman, you answered this in your opening statement, but I do believe that the previous administration cited the 2002 AUMF in strikes against Iran and its proxies. And as you pointed out, this administration doesn't believe that the AUMF provides authority for force against Iran-backed militias or against Iran. Did I understand that correctly?
So it doesn't provide any authority to attack Iran. Indeed, as I mentioned a moment ago, it is my understanding and recollection that when the previous administration took the attack against Qasem Soleimani, it primarily relied on Article 2. Article 2, the AUMF 2002 was used as an additional authority, but was not a necessary one.
So can you describe what authorities the administration is relying on in the operations that have been taken so far this year against Iran-backed proxies in Syria and Iraq?
If I may, let me let the legal advisor answer the legal authorities for those strikes, though I believe they were Article 2 authorities.
Mr. Visick?
That would be correct. Senator, under the domestic law basis, the president acted under his authority under Article 2 to defend and protect U.S. personnel from attacks. From an international law basis, we were relying on our inherent right of self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter. We reported the Article 2 to the Congress consistent with the War Powers Resolution, and also we reported our basis to the UN Security Council in accord with Article 51.
And just to be clear, so if U.S. Personnel are affected again, we don't need in the Middle East, we don't need the O2 AUMF in order to defend them.
That is correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.